every man should be around 10% body fat. Yeah, that is the standard. Not once every 3 years when you finally book the holiday, not for one photograph after 12 weeks of starving yourself. For the majority of your life, you should be lean enough that your face is sharp, that your waist looks tight, that people can actually see the physique you built. And yes, there may be short periods where, you know, you may be sitting slightly above that. You may be reaching 12% body fat towards the end of your performance phase. Maybe when you're eating a little bit more and you're trying to fill out the frame. But anything above that is fat. And the standard should always return to 10% body fat, because fuckable isn't a joke. It's a body fat percentage. And before everyone starts crying and telling me that 15% body fat is lean enough and 20% is healthy these days, and women apparently find the dad bod attractive, I want you to look at the world, what the world actually shows you. Yeah, on the screen, look at every man who gets presented as desirable. Look at the action movie stars. Look at the athletes. Look at that bloke in the aftershave advert. Okay, look at the bloke taking off his top every 5 minutes in whatever Netflix series that your missus is watching right now. If you're from the UK, Love Island's on the TV right now, and your missus is loving it while you're just sat there eating a Chinese takeaway with your belly hanging out of your t-shirt. Yeah, feeling like some little insecure bitch. And I'm not judging you. You know, I've been there. I've been that guy, guys, in the relationship, you know, trying to convince myself that I was the guy, I was the man, but deep down, I knew I was letting myself slip. Deep down, I knew I didn't properly respect myself. And neither did she. She didn't respect me, okay? I never felt good enough. And I guess we can guess how that ended. Because every man wants the same thing. He wants to look like a year-round study. He wants to look like the men that he sees in the films, on the television shows. He wants the type of body that women literally drool over. Not some enormous bodybuilder, yeah, carrying all this endless mass and looking like some bloated water balloon. Just a sharp face, a narrow waist, a lean, muscular body, yeah, an athletic looking body year round. So society will verbally tell you that the dad bod is attractive. Society lies a lot. Yeah, we have to crush all societal norms here. People will say 15% body fat is perfectly fine. And maybe fine if you want to just be average. Yeah, but fine to me is not the standard. Normal is not the standard. Not being obese is not the standard. We have lowered the standards for men so much over the last few years that not being completely out of shape is now somehow considered an achievement. And the second someone wants to go all in on their body, they want to get properly lean, everyone suddenly starts calling it extreme. 10% body fat is not extreme, okay? I've sat around 8 to 10% body fat for the last 2 years. I'm now probably around 10-ish, 11-ish maybe, slightly, just trying to fill the frame out a bit more. But being completely unable to control your food and your weekends and your environment, to me, that's more extreme. Walking around for years without actually seeing your own face and what your body is actually capable of, that is extreme. Spending your whole life being hidden under all this excess body fat because society told you to be comfortable, that is extreme. Feeling invisible and convincing yourself that you're just naturally the ugly one, it's a horrible place to be. And that is why so many people these days are just demotivated, and they have anxiety and they have depression, and they're just not happy with what they see. That's why, guys. And the thing is, I'm not saying the gym and building muscle needs to be your entire life either, but it just needs to be part of your lifestyle. Okay, it's part of a better life for opening doors. Yeah, when you physically actually build yourself into someone, when you've got a bit of tissue to the frame, it starts opening doors. And there's a massive misconception that bigger is always better. And most men think they need to become much bigger and they need to put on 10 kg more of muscle before they finally start looking impressive. Most of you don't. Okay, most of you literally need to reveal what you've already built. Yeah, when you actually get properly lean and the waist starts coming in and you start looking more aesthetic, you can actually weigh less and look substantially bigger. You know, some of my best physiques, guys, my photos, I was probably sitting at around 69, 71 kg, around 7-8% body fat, and that is not massive. I was just lean as fuck, and you could actually see the insertions and the tissue that I had built. But I've also gone the other way. I've also gone the dirty bulk way, where you're about 87 kg and you just feel like complete shit. And I weighed far more, and I just had no visible shape. So being heavy on the scales, it doesn't automatically make you look bigger or more capable. I got zero respect when I was heavier. That was the reality. I got absolutely no respect from anyone. So weight does not dictate your presence, okay? But contrast does. Yeah, 10% body fat, it gives the male its shape. You do not need to become lighter. You just need to actually become visibly sharper. And everyone talks about abs. To me, abs is probably one of the least important parts. Okay, your face, it's your face that changes when you get in. I remember disappearing for 3 months, and I just didn't see anyone in them 3 months, guys. And I went completely psycho on my body. I was smashing the weights, I was doing all this cardio, I was doing, now I probably went a bit too aggressive at the start. It's not really the approach that I would give to my clients today. But when I came back from that, and I was ripped up, guys, and people barely recognized me. Okay, it was the facial change. To me, your face is part of the physique. Don't forget that. Yeah, that's the reason you see all these bald, swole units with their beards, because without the beard, they look like a fucking thumb. Yeah, when you actually get lean and your jawline starts getting clearer and the puffiness actually disappears and you stop looking permanently swollen and tired and bloated, that's a good feeling, guys. I hate that so many men are walking around believing that they're just not naturally good looking, and then they start blaming genetics and all this bollocks, when really they never actually seen their face properly. Yeah, they never actually seen that version of themselves underneath all the years of the takeaways and alcohol and poor food and excess body fat. Like, before you decide that you need a completely nude face, or you just completely decide to give up on yourself, find out what your current face actually looks like. Yeah, when it's actually revealed. Like, to me, you might not be ugly. You might still actually be hidden. Yet every man will spend thousands trying to look good, trying to look more attractive, buying the designer clothes and the expensive watches and tattoos and teeth and hair transplants and skin treatment, whatever else people are now paying for these days, all that bollocks. And this is coming from someone who, yes, has a bright white pair of teeth. I'm not against improving your appearance. Like, do whatever you want. Like, I think looks, Maxim, is good. Okay, I think every man should be trying to look better in all departments, but do not think you can purchase your way out of being physically out of shape. It doesn't happen. Like, a watch does not sharpen your face. A designer t-shirt does not create that V-taper. Yeah, you're just decorating your body that you haven't even finished. Because when you actually get lean, when you get muscular, like you can just pull off a basic fitted white tee. Yeah, £5 from fucking Primark and look expensive. Like, an out of shape bloke can dress expensive in all these expensive outfits and he just looks rented. Okay, like, when I tell you guys, I literally wear the same black and white t-shirts, the same vests. Yeah, I've literally gone online and done that, guys, and it looks clean, it looks more mature, it removes that decision fatigue. Okay, I know what I'm wearing day to day. I'm not fucking wasting my energy, mental energy, on some stupid shit. I've spent thousands over the years, thousands trying to fit in with this sheep and buying all this designer brands and jumping on the next trend, and I thought I was gonna, you know, finally feel like the man, finally feel confident. And then I realised that you're just head to toe in Gucci, yet you're still fat as fuck. You're out of shape, you don't respect yourself. Okay, the outfit is not saving you. Yeah, you do not need endless cosmetics and designer clothes. You just need straight up discipline. You need straight up self-respect. You need to actually reveal the person underneath all that decoration. And when you actually do, you will not go back. Okay, I'm telling you that right now, because it's pain. Like, yes, building the physique takes time. Yes, it's a lifestyle switch up. Yes, you may need to be a little bit more organized with the food. You may need to, start controlling your home environment and actually being a bit more consistent with your training, and stop treating the fucking weekends like an escape where the habits no longer exist, and actually learn to control your stress. It sounds like a lot, guys. Okay? Like, not being emotional without inhaling food and getting pissed. Like, you have to be a lot more precise. And that is what people dislike. They call standards obsessive because they do not want to live up to it. They call it unhealthy. They call being lean unhealthy because it's inconvenient. It sounds pathetic, but 10% body fat doesn't mean you're starving yourself. It doesn't mean that you're eating nothing and dragging yourself through life with no fucking energy. It's meant to improve your energy. Okay, being lean, it's meant to fuel you. It's meant to actually control your life. It's meant to actually build a lifestyle that you actually respect. And the real goal here is to actually build a real operating system that actually makes staying lean normal. And for me, that all started with the diet. Okay, whole foods, obviously, like food that is going to literally fuel you properly, food that your body actually recognizes, that digests well, that it's actually going to use. Not because one chicken breast is magically going to burn more body fat and all this shit, guys, but because whole foods is going to make it easier to actually control your appetite. It's going to provide the minerals, the vitamins, the nutrients that your body actually needs. It's going to support digestion. Okay? Yeah, it's how you actually perform. You perform like a functioning man rather than feeling like some inflamed, bloated, exhausted, under-recovered fucker. Yeah, you cannot expect to build a high-performing physique when the machine underneath is not functioning. Yeah, so before you start slashing the calories lower and lower, actually prime your body. Okay, actually get it nice and healthy and get it in the green and sort your sleep out, sort your digestion out, sort your hydration out. Your stress is a big one for carrying body fat, okay? And if you have all these persistent digestive issues like no energy and terrible sleep and your hormones are crashed and something feels generally wrong, then stop ignoring it. Go get it checked. Stop masking every problem with more caffeine and pre-workout, all these aggressive cuts, fucking 2,000 calories. Then install the actual daily habits that keep the machine running. Inside my elite program, I have the CC10 daily habits. Yeah, you can get all 10 in the link below, down below. 10 daily actions that actually cover food, cover movement, cover hydration, training, sleep, just the whole structure, guys. Yeah, nothing individually sounds revolutionary, but trust me, when you execute them every single day, your body has no choice but to start reflecting the actual higher standard. Like, you do not maintain 10% body fat through motivation. You don't maintain it through all this gay shit, guys. Okay, you actually build the daily habits, the daily structure that literally supports it. And that is what I like to call the 10% operating system. And from my own personal experience, when I've gone on holidays and I've gone on social events and festivals, you just feel like a completely different person when you lean. You're actually comfortable in your own skin. You already know what you look like. Yeah, when you wake up and you actually look in the mirror and think, yeah, I've actually got my shit together. Yeah, I'm actually the fucking man. All right, you look like a stud. Yeah, your clothes actually sit properly. Your body actually looks athletic. You actually feel switched on. You feel high energy. You feel more socially present. Okay, because half the time then your brain's not focused on how am I looking. Okay, you already know you're entering the event feeling confident. Confidence doesn't magically appear, guys. Okay, the confidence came before the event, when you actually started putting in the work, when you actually started hitting your macros. That is the difference. When you actually started training like a machine. But 95% of men are arriving trying to feel good and feel confident. Like, you're already knowing that you have prepared, and you're knowing that you actually look good before you even open your mouth. Okay, people are already receiving information from you, and that is why, they're straight away, they're looking at your face, they're looking at your energy, they're looking at your body. Yeah, at the end of the day, whether people like to admit it or not, they're making judgments. And a lean, trained body, it gives people immediate evidence that you can actually control yourself. Fuming, guys, that my phone died, all right? But a lean, trained body, it gives you immediate evidence, yeah, that you can actually control yourself, that you can actually take care of yourself, that you actually, it just gives you a better starting point, okay? When you actually enter into them rooms, into them social events, your body is the first piece of evidence, okay? Like, people literally receive information about your standards and how you actually operate. And this changes how you actually interact with women as well. You know, growing up, guys, I had zero confidence all through school. I felt ugly, guys, okay? I felt like the ugly one. I'd go on these nights out and desperately try and pull, and it was just rejection after rejection. Yeah, you might bag the odd fatty here, the odd pork scratching, but that is not what you want, okay? You don't want to spend your 20s doing that, guys, and it's just loser behaviour. To me, you're not a proper lad because you shagged 50 women that you weren't even attracted to, okay? Like, you're just desperately chasing women and chasing validation at that point. And if you're watching this and you're in your 20s, I wish someone told me sooner. Invest in yourself, yeah? Get around coaches, get around mentors, and read books, and actually develop skills, and just build your body and get lean, because that way you become an asset to society. Like, the point is not to get so lean that you spend your entire life just desperately chasing more women. The opposite happens, guys. Yeah, when you actually look good, you stop treating like every bit of female attention like it's your final opportunity. You stop trying to impress all these women that you don't even like deep down. Yeah, you're just trying to fit in, guys. You become a lot more selective. You have a lot more higher standards with yourself. You stop chasing all these one-night stands and endless validation and constantly looking for the next person that means nothing to you, because you've actually built yourself into someone, okay? You built yourself into someone with confidence, who is actually capable, someone who actually has options. Yeah, that gives you potential, guys, to actually build a lot more healthier relationships, because you're not entering them with desperation. You're not clinging onto someone because you're terrified you're going to get no one, guys. That's the way I see it, because you've built yourself into someone who can literally choose. And this is where, to me, it becomes bigger than body fat, okay? Once you actually seen yourself physically dialed in, you will start noticing every other area where you've had no standards. And that will mean your standards actually start to raise. I mean, look at the gym you're going to right now. Is it full of ambitious people? Does it have an environment that actually makes you want to perform at the highest level? Or is it just another comfortable place where everyone's just half-arsing it and talking about who they fingered outside Pop World on the weekend and all this shit, guys, and all this just low frequency behavior? Because when you actually get in shape, when you start, you know, thinking more carefully about who you spend your time with, everything changes, guys. All right, what you actually say no to, what you actually eat on a daily basis, what opportunities are you actually going to pursue. You start actually raising yourself in every area, not because abs magically gives you a better life, gives you a good life, but because you actually have proved to yourself that you can change. Yeah, you said you were actually going to do something, and you did it. Okay? And every time you actually look in the mirror and you can see that you've actually kept your words, that's a good feeling, guys. Yeah, it makes you wonder what you've been slacking on the entire time. You just become a lifelong learner. Yeah, be a lifelong learner. Okay, drop the ego for once, guys. You stop looking, you start looking for better environments. You start getting around better people. You start getting around people on a similar mission to you. All my guys inside Elite Savages, guys, yeah, they come on the weekly calls and they're high frequency as fuck when they come off. But you finally have a bigger purpose. Okay, the process is not that it ends at, you know, 10% body fat and that's where it all stops, guys. That is where it begins. Yeah, and for me that was so much deeper behind all of this, getting in shape, guys. Because one of the things that I generally wish I'd done, or I wish I had, was my mum saw more of me building myself into someone. Okay, not simply just being lean and being more capable, but actually finding direction, actually taking my life seriously, actually building my coaching, you know, chasing my dreams, building this business that I talked about creating with her for years, and actually becoming someone that I knew was always there. Because for a few years I didn't do much. I was just fucking escaping. I was just doing drugs and doing fucking drinking and insta validation and all these vices that I kept, and it just kept pulling me back into the same mediocre bullshit. You know, I wasted 3 years in a Weatherspoons, guys, and I didn't show up for her, not as much as I should have. Yeah, and then she passed away, guys. And it's something I cannot change. I cannot take back. I can't give more time with this current version of me, and I can't show the man I'm actually becoming. But some of you still have parents. Yeah, some of you still have people who love you, who watch you, who are watching your life right now, and they may have heard you talk about changing for years. They may have heard you talk about going and getting in shape, starting that business, actually finally sorting your life out, quitting the alcohol, whatever it might be, okay? That you're actually finally going to do something. So stop giving them another year of that version of you who just talks about it, who actually thinks about beginning. Yeah, be someone who actually shows up while your loved ones are still here to actually witness it. All right, show up for them. Become the most capable man. Actually show up for yourself for once. Okay? So people can keep saying, guys, that 15% body fat is enough, that 20% body fat is normal, and they can keep telling you that men are expecting too much from themselves and they're becoming obsessive and all this BS, and then they will turn on the television and they will watch the same lean, sharp guy with the who's physically capable, play the hero, play the sex symbol, play the leader. So honestly, guys, don't be a fanny. Yeah, you can sit there and do absolutely nothing about it. You can sit there and listen to what society says, or you can actually look at it and actually take action for once, guys. All right, you actually have to take action. Like 10% body fat is the standard, not because abs will magically solve every problem of your life, but because of your face, your physique, your clothes, your presence. Like, it should reflect the level you actually claim to operate at. Yeah, find out what your genetics actually look like when they are revealed. And if you want help doing that, guys, like I say, that's exactly what I do inside my elite program. Okay, it's one-to-one coaching, guys. We install the weekly structure, work it around you, around your lifestyle, your habits, your standards, and I get you where you need to be, just looking like a ripped up machine. Yeah, there's a link down below, but I hope you took some value from this, guys. Okay, and remember, fuckable is not a joke. It's a body fat percentage, and 10% is the standard. Let's go.